today we are making sushi. Okay, so this goes back to December. My brother Seth and his wife Christina gave us a Christmas present of a cooking class here in Greenville at the Cook Station. We could choose whatever class we wanted, and sushi sounded the most interesting for us because we love to eat sushi and we would love to be able to make it at home. So we went to the class, we had a great time. This was before we even started Crazy Delicious Cooking. So we wanted to go ahead and take what we learned in that class and bring it straight to you. So the chef that we worked with at the sushi class, his name was Chef Hiroki Yamashita. Let's try this again. Hiroki Yamashita.
Okay.
Okay, Chef Hiroki Yamashita, and he was born in Japan. He came to the U.S. He's worked at a lot of different restaurants in the U.S. and he taught us his tricks of the trade. So we're going to pass them along to you today. So before we get started with any type of sushi, we are first going to start with sake, because you can't have sushi without some sake. So you can drink sake cold, or you can drink it hot. I prefer it hot, so any time of year actually I prefer it hot. So I picked up these little, how cute are these guys? Look at this. It's a little individual sake serving, and it comes with a little cup on top. I love it. Alright, so I picked these up at the Fresh Market, and I think they're like $2.99, $3 maximum. For these. So great for a party, individual servings, and you can kind of control yourself with these too. Heating them up if you're drinking them warm. So I'm going to show you how to heat this up, and we'll start with our sake first, and then we'll move on to our sushi. So I'm just going to open this up. Get my little cup off the top. So cute. Look at that. And it's sealed. And then we went ahead and actually originally bought this at World Market as a decoration piece, as a vase for some flowers, but it is for sake. So it turns out we already had it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my sake, I'm going to pour it in here. Alright, and then I've got my water boiling back here. You can bring it to a boil. And then eventually when you put the sake in, you want to just turn it off. So I'm just going to let it heat up a little bit more right now. Once you put this in the water, you want to make sure that the heat doesn't come out. So we're just going to use a paper towel, which I'm going to wet. And we're just going to put it right on top there, and a rubber band, and just rubber band this right on. So that's going to keep your heat inside the bottle. Alright, and this was boiling before, like I said. You can bring it to a boil again, or as long as the water's hot, you're just going to go ahead and submerge your sake right in there and sit it in there and let it just be in there for about 5 minutes, I would say, maybe less, but it's going to warm up pretty fast. So I would just let it go, and then your sake will be ready to serve. Alright, so it's been about 5 minutes since I put my sake in the water bath. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the rubber band off and my paper towel off, and we are going to serve it up. So be careful, because it'll have that hot water on there. And just pour it in your little cups. These mini cups are
shot
so
glasses
cute.
are fine too if you don't have any of these.
Yeah, if you buy like a regular bottle of sake, shot glasses will do the trick. Alright, sake.
Sake.
Kanpai.
Kanpai. Cheers. Oh yeah.
It's good. So sake, you just want to kind of sip on it. It's not a shot. Just kind of sip on it as you are eating and, of course, cooking. Alright, I'm just going to refill my little shot here. And then I'm just going to leave this in the water bath so it can stay warm. Of course, if you're at the table, you can leave it on the table. But, like I said, gonna keep it warm. I'm just gonna put the paper towel right over the top. I don't need the rubber band, but that'll keep it nice and warm for us. So we already pre-made our sushi rice just because it needs some time to cool completely. So we followed the instructions on the package, and we'll show you the exact rice that we're using. Don't use basmati, don't use regular long grain white rice. Get the sushi rice because it's supposed to be a little bit sticky, actually very sticky.
Yep, very sticky.
So don't buy anything else. Buy this brand that we're going to show you just because it's true, authentic sushi rice. And then what I did was I put a little bit of rice wine vinegar on top to give it some taste and some flavor. So our sushi rice is ready. I'm just going to set this right here for now. We need to cut up all our vegetables, and we also cured our salmon. And we have our tuna. So we'll show you the videos of how we cured the salmon because we needed to do that ahead of time. So a little bit of planning here for sushi night.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the next thing that you're going to need are these little bamboo mats, and we have 2 of them. I think we actually picked these up at Bilo, just a local supermarket, so you can probably find them in a lot of places, a lot of supermarket. It came with this little rice paddle that we can use to kind of spread our rice onto our seaweed. So we've used these before, and in our class, basically they covered them in saran wrap so that they don't get dirty and your rice doesn't stick all in here. So if you want to cover with the saran wrap, that way you keep it clean and you can just take away the saran wrap afterwards and you're good. We prepared our rice beforehand, and we also cured our salmon beforehand. So Louis is going to show us how he cured the salmon.
Mm-hmm. Let's do it. So you get a sharp knife and cut it right in the middle of the salmon fillet, and turn your knife over and cut it just above the skin, so you have a nice cut of just the fillet. And then you cut the salmon into 1/4 inch pieces, just like so. So once you're done cutting the salmon, you put them into the brine and let them sit for 3 minutes.
So the brine consists of cold water, sugar, and salt. And you're going to mix it all together until the water becomes clear, and that's when you put your salmon in. So after the 3 minutes is up, you're going to pat it down with a paper towel, make sure it's dry, and put them into a dish, which you're going to put in your refrigerator and let sit for 2 to 3 hours or overnight if possible. Alright, so I'm going to cut up all our vegetables that we need and our fish that we're going to be using. So we're going to kind of make like a California roll and some other types of rolls, but I'm definitely going to use this cucumber. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this up into slices. I'm going to peel it first. I think we'll only need about this much. So the key in cutting stuff up for sushi is that it's just really, really small pieces. I have to take these seeds out of the middle because I wasn't paying $2.99 for a seedless cucumber when these were 69 cents. That just doesn't make sense to me. I was going to, but then I realized no.
It's like I'm the chef here and I'm not doing it. Why do I have this for?
I don't know. Alright, so we've got some fresh ginger here. That's always good just to kind of put out so you can eat it alongside your sushi. And we've got wasabi too. Don't forget to get that. So I've cut up the cucumber. I'm going to wait to cut the avocado just because it's going to start to get brown. You can do like the imitation crab, but today, like I said, we decided to do the salmon and the tuna. So at Fresh Market, they have sashimi tuna already. So I'm just going to cut this into slices. And then, like I said, we cured the salmon. So that's in the refrigerator, and I'll bring that out in just a minute. It probably looks so pretty. If you're getting tuna, you want to make sure you get this sashimi tuna. So this is a beautiful piece. It's probably actually really too big for our needs today, but there we go.
Nice.
Alright, so I'm going to slice up this tuna. I'm just going to cut it in half first so I have a little bit of a better surface to work with. It's kind of an interesting piece there. All right, and I'm just gonna cut it into very thin slices, about that thin, you can see. And some of this we're just gonna eat raw, and then some of it we're gonna marinate in our spicy mayo, and then you'll have your spicy tuna. So I've cut it into slices for the nigiri, which is the sashimi over the rice, that usually comes in like 2 pieces or 1 piece. So I'm going to use that, and then I have some other chunks that I'm just going to marinate for my spicy tuna in my spicy mayo. Alright, so before I bring my salmon out, I'm going to start to make my spicy mayo. So basically it's a ratio of mayonnaise and sriracha. So, let me get my mayonnaise and my sriracha, and you're just going to mix them to your liking. If you want it spicier, add some more sriracha. Alright, squirt that right in there and mix it up. And if you've gone and got sushi before, you know kind of the color of the spicy mayo that they serve to you in restaurants, so you can kind of match it based on the color as well. If it's too pale, you know, it's not going to be spicy enough. Okay, yummy. We're going to put this on top of some of our sushi, or you can just dip it in. And of course, yeah, we're going to marinate our tuna in it. Louis is filling up our sakis. Alright, so I made a lot of spicy mayo. Like I said, we're going to dip our other sushi in it. But I'm going to marinate our chunks of tuna in it as well. Put some right in there. And then leave that set till we are ready to use it. It's good, right?
Yeah.
Alright. Alright, I'm just going to cut my avocado real quick. Okay, so now we are ready to make our sushi rolls. This is the most important part and the most exciting part. So, what you're going to do is you need a cutting board, okay, or a surface, and you want to get a towel, and you want to make that towel wet. You're going to need it for your hands, and you're going to need it to make your cutting board wet.
And a big knife.
So go ahead, make sure your cutting board is wet. You don't want it sopping wet, but it needs to be a little bit wet, okay? And you also want to prepare a bowl of water because you're going to dip your hands and your knife in that water. Okay, now we have our seaweed roll here, and I'm going to open that up. All right, so we have our sheet of sushi seaweed here. Again, make sure your cutting board is a little bit wet, otherwise it's going to stick, and you don't want it to stick. Okay, so you're just going to go ahead and put that down, and you're going to take some of your rice, and you're going to spread your rice out to the corners on your seaweed. So go ahead and spread your rice all the way to the edges, a thin layer, make sure it's even. All the way to the corners. So now that your rice is spread out on your seaweed, you can see, you are going to flip it over. Boom. Okay? And you're going to put your fillings down the middle. Right. So whatever you want to make. So I think in this first one, we want to do a vegetable one, okay? So let's do some cucumber and some avocado. So for all our vegetarians out there, this is for you. All right. Now, wet your hands. And you're going to roll that up.
Okay, wet your hands, and just going to roll it one way and the other way, and then this is the important part. Put it over on top. And gently
it together.
squeeze it so you can form that nice roll.
Okay.
More or less like that.
Yeah. You can kind of like bring it around and do it the other way too. Form it there too.
Mm-hmm.
Just so it's nice and tight. That looks good. All right, so you've got your roll and now you need to cut it. So wet your knife again.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna make quick cuts. Make sure your knife is really sharp and quick cuts. So cut it in half first. And then cut it in, wet your knife again. And then cut that half in half. And then cut those halves in half. All right, so we've got our little vegetable roll here. It's avocado and cucumber inside. You can put a little bit of spicy mayo on top if you want, or you can just use soy sauce and let whoever's gonna eat it dip it. So I'm just gonna set that there. That one's good to go. All right, I think I'm ready to bring out the salmon.
Bring out
Salmon looks good.
big guns.
Look at these beautiful pieces of salmon that we cured. So I want to kind of do like a salmon roll with avocado and cream cheese.
Sounds good.
Yeah? All right, so get your sheet of seaweed. Make sure your surface is a little bit wet. Put that side down, and you're going to spread your rice again. All right, and then you're gonna go ahead and flip that over again. Perfect, and you're gonna fill it with what you wanna fill it with. So, I wanna fill it with the salmon. These look perfect, and they're firmed up a little bit, which is exactly what you want them to be, okay? And we're gonna do some avocado right next to that. That looks delicious. And then we're going to do some cream cheese. So my cream cheese is in a tub, so I'm going to kind of have to spin this out a certain way. But I think that's good. Just kind of make it into long. Alright, I'm going to try my hand at rolling this one this time. So I'm just going to kind of put that in just like that. And I'm going to get my mat. Go ahead and pull that tight.
Here, Matt. Yep.
That looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Turn it this way and do it one more time. Nice and tight. Perfect. Woo, that looks good. All right, and then I'm gonna wet my knife. Cut it in half. Wow, that's pro. Cut that in half again. All right, these look good. I'm gonna plate those. The cream cheese inside is just gonna be perfect.
Yep.
All right, the next roll we're gonna make is the spicy tuna roll. So I'm gonna get another piece of my seaweed. So it's the same process for every single one. Just follow the same process and you will be good. And you can eat them along the way or you can eat them kind of at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's all stuck to my hands. That's why you need the water. All right, flip that over. Boom. Ooh, I got a little wet. And we're gonna do our spicy tuna in the middle.
Delish.
I'm gonna put a lot of that because I'm just gonna put avocado in. That's it. All right. So now we're gonna make some nigiri. So that's the rice and then the sashimi on top. So make sure you wet your hands. Get a little bit of your rice. And you kind of just want to form it into that shape. Right? Just like that. And then take your little slice of salmon and place it right on top. Perfect. And set that next to your other piece. And then you can do the same thing with the tuna. Do 2 tuna ones here. Kind of form that into your shape and take your thin sliced tuna and put that right on top. And then we'll do one more. Just play around with the rice. It's a little bit sticky and your shape doesn't have to be perfect. And take another thin slice of tuna right on top. And you've got 2 lovely pieces of each. Perfect. All right, so our sushi is plated and ready to be eaten. I'm so hungry as usual. We both are. So we're ready to eat. But just to let you know, with the amount of rice that we cooked according to the package, we were able to make 3 rolls and a set of salmon nigiri and a set of tuna nigiri. You could probably have made 4 rolls if we wouldn't have made the nigiri.
Right.
So 4 rolls with the rice according to the package. If you want to make more, if you're having a party, definitely go ahead and double that so you have it because it does need time to cool. So we have our sake in hand and we're ready to say kanpai. And we thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Crazy Delicious Cooking. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye. It is a little bit.
This looks horrible. This one looks horrible. It's not tight enough, Lois. I think you needed to like roll it. Say cheers in Japanese.
Yeah, I know, right?
Maybe we should learn. How do you say cheers in Japanese? Kanpai.
Kanpai.
Kanpai. Mm-hmm. Let's hear it.
Kanpai.
Kanpai.
Okay.